Less than 2 weeks ago, Angela Merkel's former foreign policy advisor Jan Hecker formally took up his ambassadorial post in Beijing. The confidant of the Chancellor should ensure continuity in the difficult relationship with China. Now he's dead. Shortly after taking up his post in Beijing, the new German ambassador to China, Jan Hecker, died unexpectedly. The Foreign Office announced in Berlin on Monday morning. Before taking on the important diplomatic post in the Chinese capital, the 54-year-old was a foreign policy advisor to Chancellor Angela Merkel from the Christian Democrats. The circumstances of his death initially remained unclear. It is with deep sadness and consternation that we are greeted by the sudden death of the German ambassador to China, Professor Dr. Jan Hecker, said the message from the Foreign Office. And at this moment, our thoughts are with his family and the people who were close to him. Born in Kiel, he was married and has 3 children. He had only taken over the post in August. After arriving in Beijing, the top diplomat and his family first went through the quarantine that is usual in China due to the corona pandemic. Hecker then handed over his credentials in Beijing at the end of August and began regular work. "What sad and shocking news," responded a senior official of the Chinese Foreign Ministry to the death of the new ambassador. A leading German company representative who had just met with him said, "Tragic, he was such a smart and reserved man, a good listener." Before his posting to China, Hecker had been head of the Foreign Security and Development Policy Department at the Federal Chancellery since 2017, making him a close confidant of the Chancellor. He accompanied Merkel on her travels. The lawyer and political scientist worked as a judge at the Federal Administrative Court from 2011 to 2015, after having worked in the Federal Ministry of the Interior from 1999 to 2011. In 2015, Hecker became head of the newly created Refugee Policy Coordination Team, and during the refugee crisis he was largely responsible for implementing the promise made by the Chancellor, "We can do it." With this, Hecker moved to the center of government policy on Merkel's side. He was the first foreign policy advisor to the Chancellor who had not gone through the classic diplomatic career, and he was considered an outstanding foreign policy climber. After the general election and the end of Merkel's chancellorship, according to observers, Hecker should ensure continuity in the difficult relationship with the emerging great power China. Representatives of the Chinese Foreign Ministry had expressly welcomed his appointment and pointed to his closeness to the Chancellor, who is taking a more cautious stance in the growing tensions between Europe and China. German diplomats in Beijing did not want to comment on the circumstances of the death and only referred to the Foreign Office, which is quite understandable. Hecker's previous representative, the envoy Frank Rückert, is now temporarily assuming the role of ambassador. And I'll see you in my next video with better news, I hope. Bis gleich.